Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is the professor with Day Trading for Success. I'm making a video in the afternoon. We did had a good day today. I just traded some of the earnings at the close here and did even better. So I'll be showing you those recordings at some point. But right now, today, I was going to put out what I said I was going to finally make a video about how I do some of my swing trading. So I'm going to show you how I mark out, and we'll start with the SPY, how I would mark out that. And then the way I mark out the SPY would be the way that I would mark out any large cap that I would trade. So you can take the way I'm showing you how to do the gapping, as well as the trend lines, as well as support and resistance line, as well as the take profit and take loss zones that I mark out. I also will touch base on the stop hunters and why I believe, and I've said on many of my videos, that you really should set an alarm and not just go down to the lowest point for your stop loss where everybody else does, because they see it. They see the thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of shares that are there. The hunters exist. It's not a mystery, no matter what. It's not a misnomer, whatever you want to call it. It's not fiction. The brokers will, whoever, big money, whatever you want to call them, they will go down and they will manipulate the stock to pick up enough shares in the right position so that they hold it all as it shoots right back up when there's nowhere to go but up. It's not a stupid strategy. They have enough money to do it. And when everybody says, oh, you've got to set a stop loss in a book or whatever, you're watching channels. I mean, look, it doesn't matter if you have 5 shares or 5,000 shares. If you put your stop loss in the same spot where the hunters are going, well, they're going to take you. Some people, I only have 10 shares. Nobody cares about mine. Oh, they care if you put it in the right spot or above the right spot. You'll just get picked up. I'm assuming that you're going long when I say that, but so yeah, they care. So set an alarm, and I had a couple of different videos about this. Set an alarm when you want to get out, so it goes off on your phone or whatever. Because if you set a stop loss, they see it, and it may or may not, get picked up, but you're taking a chance, right? So why take a chance? Now, if there's just no other way, you can get out of the position because your platform isn't on the phone, or even if it was, you didn't have time. Okay, you do what you got to do. And remember, guys, I am not a licensed financial advisor, so everything I say here is just for entertainment purposes, 100%. So remember to seek the advice of somebody you trust, a licensed professional. This is just going to be my opinion that I'm sharing with you, so I'm going to get right into it. Remember, guys, on the channel, everything is free. If you're first here and you like what you see, remember to subscribe and give a thumbs up. We have a lot of custom scripts for free. The channel's episodic, and you can see the custom scripts on the episodes and then how to use them and all these things, as well as, live trading archives, how to do the 3 different strategies we do, which is the RV strategy, the escalator strategy, and the open strategy. As of right now, that's what we're doing. And then today, I'm going to begin to start to show you some of the swing strategies that we trade every single day that I just haven't been showing you. The $1 Million Margin Club and myself trade these, and I'll show you how we set it up. So I'll just start that right now. And then I'm going to try to hopefully remember to show you where the stop loss, about stop losses. So right now, this is on a day chart. Instead of what was 20 years. 20 years. Okay, so some people would say, why in the world would you go back that far? Nobody looks that far. No, you're wrong. If you think that is not true. They go back to the low, the lowest point. So even if, so right now, if you start getting back, I would say I wouldn't go back further than this. I probably wouldn't go back further than right here, 2019, because it's just ridiculously low, $67 or whatever. So we're not going to see it get down there again. But right here was a sharp turnaround. Here and possibly here would be a good starting point to set your trends, right? So let me set that right there. Now you can actually type in the exact price of that if you really want to get into it. I think just getting the trend in the general spot. So now look at that. That's a spike going down. And when I mark out the gapping, which I'm going to show you, you should definitely mark it from the spike. But on the trends, you want to try to pick all these up if you can. So let's look at the mean average in here. So if I go that far up, I pick up both of those probably like, you see this line right here? So if you see, I'm getting the red here, and then I'm getting this one right here. So I'm almost got that center one. So that's pretty good. And it looks like it almost respected it right here. So tap, 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 almost tap. This is an area of a support. You can see it, you know. So now you can just do it. You can start from the same area again, and you might not want to go on the wick. You can go up here, and we can do it again, and we can pick up this one here and see how does it do here. So it worked as a ascending resistance on these if I picked it up here, and then look, it tapped it over here, and it might come right back up and hit it again. So I would actually mark this as kind of a double whammy here, because we're getting ascending resistance and we're getting support. I don't find it as strong as this one, but I think it's a pretty good one there. So that's generally the trends I would do, except I definitely do an ascending resistance from right here. And we need to get down to a little closer. Trying to barely move this thing. I'm looking at the price on the side there, and I'm not going to, I mean, normally I would just type this in, but that's too far up. Let's see. 45. It's just too sensitive for this 20-year thing. Yeah, I'll just do it there. That's a little high, but so now we're going to do this, and I'm going to hit that candles and this one here across. So making a little wedge here. And as the days go on, if this is riding it up here, I would look for that as a resistance point, right? Now, the next thing, and that's all I'm going to do for the trends. Now, you can go crazy. You can mark more. You can put one here. You can put one here. You could start to go here and go across. You could do all kinds of things. This is what I would do, because I'm going to show you a lot of other ways to mark it out for the trade. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, let me auto zoom, is we're going to do our Fibonacci from as far back to the low as we can go. So the lowest low is going to be right at that wick. So we'll stretch that up and go up here to the high. And that is, oops. Man, it just wants to skip over that number, huh? That's a whole $1 off. All right, I'm going to get within 50 cents. Again, you can set this. So I can go in here and say that's 479.98. So I just go in here, edit it, 479.98. And then say, okay, now it's up where it's supposed to be, right? So this one's close enough. So now I've set one there. And now I'm going to go to a 4-year. And the reason I'm doing it, that's why it was set on 4 years earlier. I just cleaned the whole thing up for you guys so I could show you from the beginning. So I'm basically going back. I would go back because of COVID again, but look, it's the same exact thing. So 4-year didn't matter. So this is really our only decent Fibonacci for the daily chart, in my opinion, because it's just straight up. So you could do another one from here to here, I suppose. I mean, I didn't actually do that, but you could do one if you were trying to get multiple fibs. But for the way you're doing swing trading, it is not necessary. Okay. So now before I go into marking support and resistances and gapping, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about stop loss here. So I'm on a 4-year, so that's good enough for stop loss. So if you're taking a swing trade right here, you know, you need to see, it depends on how many share sizes you're going to have. So we're going to be doing, let me just get this in here. Get a little busier here. So most likely, I think I had it down at the 23 range. So depending on your share size, you may be saying, hey, I want to wait for it to come all the way down here before I get out. And there are people that are, brokers and advisors are saying we're about to get down to like 370. So it's about to be a big drop and maybe lower. So if you took a short in here, remember, this is just my personal advice. So I plan to take a short I'm going to show you the upper zone of this in a minute. I plan to take a short if it climbs up here, or when it breaks into the lower zone and then go down. I think the SPY is going to go down. I think it's overinflated. I think with all the news of the war, and I think if you listen to my end of the, not last week, this week, but the week before that, how I said the SPY was going to go down. Well, it did. It went straight down, and I took that trade. I actually almost got stopped out right there, but I held, and then I made a nice profit. So to somewhere here. Yeah, is today Tuesday or Wednesday? What is today? And I can't remember. But anyway, October 24th. Tuesday. Wow, that's how good I'm into it. But anyway, yeah, so the last 2 days it's been going back up. I think that's because of the earnings. All the earnings for the big tech is coming out and they're propelling the market up. But I think generally it's going to go down. Again, just my personal opinion. So I did a fantastic swing here last week and then got out on Friday. So I don't like to hold the swings into the weekend, so I got out. So anyway, this is what I think is going to happen is I think that all these big earnings that are coming out are going to propel it back up into the 430, maybe even higher this week. And then I think it's going to fall off. And we'll talk about that zone in a minute. So I am a big trader of the SPY, and I do the bigger moves. So you just have to see if you're going to do something like that. This what I'm showing you works on anything. Though I do this a lot with NVIDIA as well. With the real movers, I try to do it. This will work. My point is how I'm showing you to set this up will work on anything. So on the stop losses, what I was starting to say is they're going to look when I mark out these zones, and hopefully I'll remember to tell you again, they're going to look like right now it's kind of respected this fib, you can see, and that's not happenstance most likely, and then went up right off of it. And I do remember seeing that when on Friday that it was getting very close to that. So now if it breaks through that again, where does it go? It could go all the way down to this fib, although we haven't done the gapping yet. I'm about to show you a bunch of gapping. It could go down to here, but they'll probably, the hunters are looking for all the people that sit there. There's probably a big move right in here for if people wait for it to drop to that 370. They would, if you put your stop loss in here and it started to go, they would snag it for sure in this area. But they may, we'll look at the gapping. They may be, this isn't as clear cut because of what's going on in the world right now to see what's going to go on. Maybe the stock market will just be ridiculously optimistic still. I mean, I know the people that go long are holding long and for all their money and their IRAs and everything else are saying, stop talking about it going down. And yeah, I understand. And just like with the RV strategy, this fib's creating a zone. And you know, we're all about zones on that. All right. So, yeah, I wish I had a more clear cut to point out stop losses here, but because of the news, I'm afraid I can't really do that. So let me go back to gapping. Let me get to, what are we on now? Are we on to, yeah, we don't need to go any further back than right here for our gapping. So where will stock action be? It'll probably be from, you know, oh God, it won't even be that low. It'll be from here to here. So we're going to look for gapping between these two zones for now. And then if it leaves this area, we can always do more gapping. So what do I mean by gapping? Okay, so this is where I'm going to try to expand the chart a little bit here. So we'll go right here where the gapping would matter and blow that up a little bit. I think I'm going to have to blow it up even more. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to have to, I'll blow this area up here even more first. So we'll start right here and then we'll go over with the pan and show the gapping. So a gap is when the candle body makes a big jump in the after and pre-market in the extended session. That's a gap. And it doesn't know. I always mark the wick, the $1 Million Margin Club. We mark the wick or the bottom if there's no wick, and we just mark the gap in between. We don't go by, I mean, this is an easy one because it's the close would be the bottom of that candle. The open would be here. But we always just mark the gap. It doesn't matter open, close. We just mark the gap. So we put a line here and a line here. So I'll start doing that so you guys can see that this is clearly a gap. So I'm going to mark that. and I'm going to, I'll make the gaps blue. I'm not going to, I could just spell gap in here too, but for right now, I'll just make the gaps blue. So everything that's blue is a gap. So then I go to the wick. So it's wick to wick. And if there isn't a wick, it's body to wick or body to body. There's a lot of people that, I should have saved the default. There's a lot of people who don't do it that way and say that's the wrong way. So, but we've been trading a long time and we believe this is the right way. And if you really, I don't know how many gurus you watch, but most of the big gurus are going to do it just like I'm telling you to do it. So it's not just me. So now there is some question about how many gap. How a lot of people go, well, it has to be over $4 gap, or it has to be over $2 gap, or it has to be depending on the price of the stock. This is an expensive stock, so some people do that. I'm just gonna mark them. I'm not gonna get into that. And if it doesn't, I don't care if it's busy. I would rather know where all the gaps are. Okay, so here's another one. This is a gap. So if you really look at this gap, that's 411.85, and then it goes down to 410.91. So that's barely more than $1. So probably in this case, since I've blown up the chart, $1 on the SPY, that's a little tight of a gap. So even I will call a gap that's not as much as $1, not really going to be a gap on this, 1763 down to 416. Yeah, so this isn't one either. Plus I've got it picked up over here, and none of those are. This one's way down here, but we're not going to go that low. So if the price action is picking it back up in between, then it's not a gap. So this one is from here, this wick, 419.25, and it's picked up here. So since I already have it picked up there, I'll go ahead and put one there. Oh, I thought I saved the default. Okay. Save. Okay. That's how you're supposed to be able to save the last color you had. So this is too small of a gap, too small of a gap, too small. Nope. Okay, look at this one. All right, this is a big one. So mark there and mark. Oh, no, it isn't. I'm sorry. Nope, the candle came up. I didn't see that candle at first. Remove that drawing. That is not a big gap. That is not a very big gap. 50, if less than $1, I'm not going to mark it. Oh, that's more than $1. Okay. Did I get that right? Boy, that looks like it's smaller, huh? Let's pan over. Don't really see gaps here. Here's a nice big one. That's already picked up down there. So, no. Now, these are support and resistance. We're going to come back to those. Those are not gaps. I would definitely mark this support and resistance here. Gap. Yeah, that is a gap. So, see, well, now when we get this all set up, I'll show you how to create the zones. Where you're going to take profit and where you're going to enter. And those are key. And following your trading plan is very key. So I'm just kind of seeing, it's possible I'll miss a gap here, but you guys will be screaming, there's one right there, you missed it. All right, so this one's here, it's already marked here. Kind of too tight. Remember, these all signify day, so in between, there's always an aftermarket for every single one of these. So you're just looking to see how big that gap is in the aftermarket that's been picked up. Here's one here. And you see me when I go to, if I were to like trade this, was that tight really for 44.79, 49? Yeah, no, that's too tight. If I were to zoom in on I'll just show you on my 1 minute chart. It's not even, these lines won't be close at all. If I were to actually try to do the RV strategy after I mark out the gapping, which sometimes I do that. It's not a bad idea to know the gapping even for the RV strategy. It's just that most of the time it doesn't come into play. So it just depends. I mean, if you want to be super duper careful, and I'd mark them out. Look at this. So nothing here, but that's screaming for a gap there. And then 2 more here. All the way down. I remember this on the 16th of June. I mean, the June 13th. I remember this week. This thing was brutal. I think I caught some of that action. Let's see here. So these got... Oh, did I already pick these up? I don't remember picking these up already. See, gapping. There's one. Again, I may be missing them and you're screaming, but if that means that's good, if you see what I'm missing. That got picked up, so I think that. There. Let's see. It's a process, guys. You got to go through it. But once you mark it up for the swing, then, it's marked up for a month or whatever more, depending on how you watch it. I had deleted it all. I had it all marked up. These are being, for the most part, picked up. There's one right there. It wouldn't hurt. Right across that 50 moving average. The blue line's a 50, the orange is a 200, the yellow is a 100. Those are picked up, so I don't have to worry about it. Picked up for the most part. There's a lot of support and resistance lines I do here. Okay, so that's the gapping, right? Now, you really should set your zones before you do your support and resistance lines, because the zones should be marked only on gapping. That means you're entering exits. So let's take a look at strategy here. So obviously you're watching the news. You're listening to the overall, so you can decide which way you think the SPY is going to go if you're trading the SPY. And then that helps you make your plan, that what you feel the general feeling is going to be. So if we take a look at this right now, for whatever reason, I think it's going to go up this week because of all the earnings. I don't know if it's going to make it up here, but I do think it's going to retrace, and then I think it's going to fall off. And I think it's going to fall off in a big way. Again, personal opinion. Everybody in the Millionaire Margin Club agrees. We are all looking to short this, if that helps. But you should talk to people you trust. But now it's getting a little reprieve. So it's going to be retracing up here a little bit, and it may go further. So this is the zone right here that you're looking to mark. So I have this set up. Remember, you can lock. I have a whole thing that says how to do your charts here. So I lock them onto the screen, and you can add buttons here. See how you can add them and then add more things from here. If you were adding a button, you'd look into your draw tool and you can add something, whatever you want, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to get rid of not adding a button. So these are the ones that I use. You've seen me. I added this just for this is on my swing trade chart normally. You can save just your, after you mark it up, you can name just your chart under the default setting down here. So you can name it something, create a drawing set, and then name it, and then you can clear everything for just the regular one. So remember that, name it and save it. If you want it, then you don't have to keep remarking these and everything. So I knew I was going to remark it, so I didn't save it. So now I'm going to mark these gaps right here. This is the zone, right? So after I click on the rectangle, I left click here, I drag down, and I fill in the whole box over a way so that it'll stay there for a while. And that is my zone. So now what does this mean to me? This means if I'm going long, then right in this area, and I could have even pulled it down to this gap here. I probably should have done it that way. Why don't I do that? That's a mistake. So I'll remove that drawing. Now that I look at it again, I should go to the lower, oops, rectangle, the lower gap. So let me pull it down all the way to here and then go across to the right there. There we go. So now I'm looking for that to either, this would definitely signify me to go in my position short, or if I was going long, this is my take profit. So that's why I created that. There's a big opening here. So you look at that and you go like, that's when people might bail or get in or whatever. And then you do the same thing down here. So now there's little gaps here, but I actually would look for this one. I would look for the big boy down here. And I would go across here. Now, if I'm going short, and I'm watching here. I'm definitely watching here. No question about it, you know. So look at this. I mean, look at what we're in here. So right in this area, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing I just did. I should make it more for beginners. You can just, I literally would, this is the better way to do it. Just go right here, pull it down and do that whole zone. So that way you don't have to watch. Now you know this is your area. So when this comes back down, it could signify it turns it around, or it could just go boom, you know, all the way, and then you look at it again. So a lot of people, what they do, if you started doing short, I'm just going to give you a little bit of analysis, like how I would trade, is it starts going down, it's getting near this, you might want to start taking some profit, but holding a position. So you've made some money in case it bounces off. And then what happens if it keeps breaking and gets into here, you can add to your position again for the next big dip. But take some profit as you're going down. Now, you don't see me do that when I'm RV strategy trading because it's not the same kind of trading. It's a completely different type of trading. So that's basically what you're doing. It's the same way when I got into a position. Like if I was getting into a position here and I was planning to short, or like just say I started to short right here. I'm going to go. I did 500 shares last week. So say I'm going to go 500 shares. Well, I might put 100 in right here. Oops, it's still going up. Well, I might add 100. That's crazy. It's going the wrong way. But my price point's getting better. It's still going up. Well, I'm going to add another 100 because just in case it turns around sooner, I'm ready. I'm ready in position, right? So then, I might keep adding 100 till I get right to where, what was my stop loss? Am I over $2,000? Am I, is it over? It's time to get out. You blew it. You couldn't even make it up here. Most likely I'd calc it so that my 2,000 is right here. And then, it's broken through. It's like you called that wrong. It's going to keep going, so you never know, right? You don't know 100%. But other people are marking out these zones. And when I was talking, a lot of people are marking these out because they go by the gaps and they go by trend lines. There's another thing here. Here's a trend line. So you might, as it's coming, let's say it's coming down way over here, like 3 or 4 days from now, 5 days from now, and it's in the zone. This is a serious spot, this trend that we marked. This would be a serious spot to worry about a turnaround. But if it's going to be like what I think it's going to keep going. I think it's going to go way down. I'm sorry, guys. I think it's going to go way down here. Could be wrong. Of course, anybody could be right or wrong. So I would probably hold this and take profit as I'm going down, and then add, and then take profit, and then add, and take profit, and add, and just I wouldn't hold it all the way down the same price and just hope for the best. I just keep playing it because I'm a scalper at heart. But I would make a trading plan, like I was talking about, to write it by adding and subtracting shares to I'm in my best possible position. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I see a specific turnaround. Like if this comes up tomorrow and then the next day it's just like very sharp, I'll watch the open the next day. Would that be Thursday or Friday? Well, that's the thing. I'm not going to hold it into the weekend. So yeah, so probably it would be on Monday. Now a lot of these guys will hold it into the weekend. I just have a thing about it. The great thing about the way I show you on the channel is that I can sleep at night really easily because I'm not in a position. Or I have a very specific position with a stop loss. So if I lose money in the day scalping, it's out. I'm not letting it ride. It's out. That's through many years of pain and suffering. that I've learned to do it that way. And mostly I'm positive, which is great, but no, I'm not all the time. People keep asking me to show a losing day. I'm sure it will happen, but how fun is that to watch a guy lose? Like I said before in the other videos, I lose all the time. I definitely do. Sharing it with you isn't my high point of something I'd like to do, but yeah, I lose all the time. Tens of thousands of dollars I've lost. So, but anyway, so there might be people looking, I've marked these out, I started to say, and looking to stop hunt even in these areas. So you got to be careful, you know, where you put your stop loss. So think about that. Now, let me just show you what this looks like just for the heck of it. On the 1 minute chart, right? You saw all those lines. You saw me do all those lines. Look, you can't even see them. There's nothing here. There's nothing on the chart, right? You can't, you know, you're thinking he's got so many lines. Yeah, not on the intraday charts. Even on your 5 minute chart, look how far apart they are. You know, they're just, so it's not hard to trade those on intraday. These levels, if you're putting them up for the RV strategy, these are levels that should be seriously respected. I probably should have you guys doing that. I'm just, you know, usually we don't get to them, you know, that doesn't hit that action. But, you know, right now I'm doing the fib and I'm doing the 4 hour and the fib to 10-day and 2-day fib for the RV strategy. But maybe we should start. I know we originally did the gapping and it was just too crowded. But gapping would be way more respected, obviously, as would the 200 moving average and the 50 moving average that are on the daily charts. You know, this is a daily of those averages, not the 5 minute chart, because this is a 5 minute chart. So you look at 422. So that, you know, that would be something that should be marked, 422.68. So that's right up here, right here. A lot of where the action was today. That's a daily 200 right there, right through the middle of the action. So that should have been marked if you're trading it. So you could have seen it. And then you have the 50, which is the blue one, is all the way up at 436. So that's way out of play. It's way up here. And then the 20, no, hang on. Why is the 20 there? 20 day, okay. I thought that was supposed to be the 100. I guess that's the 20 days. So that's 428. So that's right here. 428.60, like right here. So if they were between the ATR, remember, you'd want to have the ATR. So a lot of those, you know, might not come into play because it would be way outside the ATR. But if you switch to the escalator strategy, remember I have a lot of videos about that. So the 3 strategies, if I didn't name them, we do the RV strategy here, we do the escalator strategy, and we do the open strategy. And there's a bunch of videos for all of them and how to do them. And I'm just starting to show you, this is my first beginning to show you some of the swing trades I'll be taking and how I set it up to do it. They're pretty boring because you can't, you're not going to see me scalp. You know, I'm just going to take a position. So, but I can talk about it. I'm more worried about doing that, guys, because you are able to actually follow me if I do that. And that's very scary for me because I don't want to feel I have any responsibility. I've already been attacked for that. Even with all these disclaimers, I had a huge problem. Believe it or not, you'd think that with only at this point of making this video, I think I have 6,000 subscribers. If somebody's going to come after me, shouldn't I at least have like 300 to 500,000 subscribers? I mean, come on. You know, it's just, they're already after me for that low subscribers. That's insane. That brings up another point, guys. There's we just went through a whole bunch of videos that I have, which is now approaching 100. We are going to pare those down because it's a little overwhelming for people to even find stuff. I put them into episodes, and apparently that's still not happening. It's happening. So what we did is we went through and we said any ones that had low sound quality, ones I could repeat or have already repeated and do a better job, ones I've changed my opinion, the way I set them up or do them different, or any kind of flaws in the videos. We're just going to take them down. I don't care about losing the views as far as YouTube monetization. That's not what I'm about. If you can figure out how much that pays me, you know, like $110 as opposed to what I make in a day, in a month as opposed to what I make in a day. That is not what this channel is about, obviously. So I'm trying to make it easier. I've been trying all these different tricks, and I know I'm off a little bit on the thumbnails, but we'll get that straightened out. So I wanted to, reason I brought that up is I wanted to make sure if there was something you were waiting to watch and you really want to watch it, just in case it's one of the ones I'm taking down, you should watch it, but also I will put something in its place that's going to cover the same things, that's a better quality or better information. So did I cover everything? So that's how I'm going to set up the SPY. I've told you what I'm waiting for to get into this. So maybe I can make a video when it happens, but when you're watching this, you'll know what I'm thinking about. I would be going short anywhere. If this turned around, I'd be going short. Like as soon as it hit this zone, it broke through here, I'd go short. But if it's going up here and starting to come down, I'll hit the short and then take profit, but then keep riding it for the real move, which I believe is further down. So that's my strategy. If it keeps going up and breaks that and keeps going, then I'm not sure I'll go long. I'll reassess because I'm just worried generally about the market these days, not to be doom and gloom, but I'm talking to you more about my short. And in each one of these, as it goes down, I'd be judging the same way, like take profit, add, take profit, add, take profit, add, all the way down. That's how I trade, and it works pretty well. So I talked about stop losses. I talked about I didn't get into support and resistance. So, good. I'm glad I went through the thing. So that's the last thing I would do here is I would do support and resistance. So I would look at wherever it got missed. Now, I created the zones ahead of time because I didn't want to do the zones about those, but I would definitely create some support and resistance lines just like I do on the RV strategy. So that's important. I'm just going to make those white so we know the difference. And where the stock has turned around abruptly and gone the other way, and if it hasn't been picked up, then I will do that. Most of these are picked up. I mean, that's probably one right there. So when I'm trying to make that decision that I just talked about in the middle of a zone, or I'm going to rely a little bit to help me on these support and resistance lines. So look at all those taps. So that's a good one. This one here too, it hit the wicks way over there and hit these bodies and the top of that wick. So all the way over here, this one hit. So try to get as much alignment as you can. Just like I show you on the RV strategy. This is just one more little edge to help you make your decision when you're watching, I'm at 300. Should I take the profit or should I take half of it? Or, I'm at 2,000. I better bail or whatever, depending on how much you're trading. I'm at 50 and I made my goal, and stick to your trading plan and don't even worry about this stuff. So I'm looking all the way across to see this area where it didn't pick it up, and it looks like right around here, a little higher right there is the most it taps. So I'll go through and I'll do this, and in the end, it won't make it that crowded, guys. It won't make it that crowded. So when you're looking, so that's what I should tell you. So when you're looking to use these, I use the 15-minute chart. Glad I thought to say that. So this has got my ADX. It's got, hopefully you've seen the other videos. This is the custom script here. And then of course these scalpers. Oh yeah. So if you're just watching this, guys, this is the indicator that you're going to want to get for scalping and day trading. This is basically going to be, an unbelievable. So all these are free on the channel. So just type in scalpers indicator and it'll come up. I almost know that by heart, but I'm afraid to say the wrong episode number. But I'll go to the 15 to assess, like say the zone was right here or right down here. This would be important to me. This is a daily pivot line. So I would think is how is that affecting me? So I don't know where the zone is on this. We're way down, right? We're way out of the zone. Am I not? Oh, the zone isn't picked up on the 5-minute for some reason. Oh, interesting. Is that truly true? Yeah, it's not there. Okay. Not sure. I thought it showed all the way on all of the charts. That's interesting. Anyway, I'm not looking for the zone because I know where it is. I'm looking for these when I'm about to get out or lower my position or add to my position, I'm going to start looking at the pivot lines. I know where the zone is, and I'm just seeing, like, should I be adding, subtracting? So it's one more thing I use, and that's why marking those pivot lines, like I've showed you for the RV strategy, mark them on the daily. It really helps you, give you an edge to make the most possible money by staying in a position, Now, I have mine set very sensitive, so you won't see a lot of these. I know this comes up all the time. People think, how do I do it on mine? I have one that shows you how to speed up your computer, how to make your platform faster. But you're going to see these ridiculous wicks and stuff with me that go big distances, and there's not too many right here now that I brought that up, but typically there are all over the place. So anyway, yeah, I'm rambling on. So yeah, I did a little aftermarket trading here. So I had this. I was just, I had it at 25 when who announced? Was it Meta? No, was it? I forget which big one. And I was just like, join the ass, join the ass, join the ass. I just kept click, because it can move like $10 at once. So I wasn't going to put like 1,000 shares here, So, and I was clicking to get it picked up, and then after market, you're not picked up as good. So I had it at 50 at first, and then I lost money, just as anyway. I won't go through it, but there's a strategy to trading aftermarket and pre-market. Okay, well, I am going on now, so hopefully you guys like what you saw. You subscribe, give a thumbs up if you're new here, or if you've been watching, you've been waiting. I finally got to this. I'm going to get to the other stuff I talked about too, and I'll be trying to cover more swing trades for you as time goes on. They're just slower. Remember, guys, it's not very action-packed. So, all right, well, thanks for watching. Be careful out there. Stay green, and I will see you soon.